Hello, and welcome to another episode of TacoBytes, your daily bite of Degen. We have Ian Nomad with us today. How are you doing, sir?
Good.
I am doing well. Let's see, what is going on here? Are we having a bad sound day? No, we aren't.
Testing.
I don't think we are.
Testing.
Let's see what's going on here. Oh my gosh. We are having just one of those days.
Dude,
Boom. All right. I don't know if the sound is just off or what, but how have you been, man? That is an amazing audio piece. I don't know what's going on here. We might have to exit the studio and go all back in. Yonks, what's up? So for those that are joining us, we are coming to you live via YouTube, via Twitter, Twitch, Discord, and Telegram. So I don't know. Oh man, we are just having some bad feedback, I think. So what else might be open that's causing this? Hold on real quick. We're gonna
testing.
I know exactly what it is. At least I think I do. Oh well, let's see. Let's make sure that this is all set right. For those joining us on Twitter, thank you for joining us. We have the great Ian Nomad with us. And, oh my gosh, what is this? What is this? This is a settings thing. Oh, thank you. Oh, I know what it is now.
It sounds better, I think.
There we go. I think. Cancellation? No? Wow. This is just a horrible morning.
It sounds better on my end. I'm not hearing any feedback.
All right. As long as you're not hearing feedback, I can deal with it.
Testing. Yeah, I think we're good.
All right. Then that just means that I am doing horrible things. So let's see here. We have, hey, that's okay. I would not be the worst Twitter show, the worst daily Twitter show, if we didn't have a single issue. And, you know, with this being a really fun piece, we have a lot joining. We have a bunch of people joining us, and we're just going to go headphones off.
I can't hear you now.
Of course, you can't hear me when I'm muted.
Okay. Here we go.
Oh my gosh. It has just been one of those mornings.
Dude, yeah, it has.
Like, should I not have touched a computer this morning? But we couldn't. We had to touch, we had to touch a computer. We have to send a huge shout out to Wesley joining us. Yonks, Vlad, Pay It Forward joining us. And we have Ian from Fate. It's all in your hands.
Fate Labs. It's all in your hands.
So what is Fate Labs?
Near you. Yeah, that's a great question. So Fate Labs is a Canadian-based technologies company, and we focus on creating technologies, bolstered around blockchain technology, but with real world applications. We are the home of what we hope to soon be the new staple of IVNs, or also standing for intrinsically valued non-fungible tokens. And we got a lot of crazy announcements coming over the next month or so, and we're super excited. But that's Fate Labs in a nutshell.
And so, with intrinsically valued non-fungible tokens, you're saying NFTs that hold value within them.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And so, are you using the ERC 998? Are you using standard?
We're using standard, but with a little bit of a twist on it. So our owner and lead dev, we've built all of this from scratch. It's not forked from anything. It's not copy pasted or anything. So we built kind of a new version of the contract that fits this specific need. And and the main reason for it is this. I mean, currently the standard for NFTs is you pay 100% mint fee and you get a JPEG essentially. And the only way you can make money off that is, the standard anyways, the norm is depending on how much you can resell that NFT for. Whereas IVNs are intrinsically valued non-fungibles, a portion of that mint fee is automatically, I guess, for a less technical term, is shoved inside the IVN, giving it its intrinsic value. So now you have options now. You can sell it on the open market because it does everything that a normal NFT essentially can: hold it in your wallet, sell it on OpenSea Rarible or whatever. Or if you can't sell it, you can burn the NFT or the IVN and extract the value that's inside of it.
Yeah. And so you guys are really just sort of not affecting making a new PFP collection per se, but you are wanting to make a store of value.
Yeah, exactly. And not only that, the applications, the real world applications for this stuff is insane. So imagine this. We're in talks with a few metaverses and AR, VR technologies. Now imagine this. You're in a metaverse and you have a digital land property, right? What if that digital property had intrinsic value? So let's say it had $100,000 in intrinsic value locked inside of it. Effectively, what this would allow you to do is put up that digital property as collateral for a loan, which it can do because the intrinsic value it is the collateral inside of it.
Yeah.
So instead of paying, X amount of money for a digital land property where the only way you can get a return on it is by reselling it, or if it has side utilities connected to it. But with our technology, it essentially allows you to use digital assets as you would normally use real world assets. So that's what we're super excited about, is the implications that what we're able to do.
Okay. Now, so this almost comes down to the lines of like possible future credit line pieces as well, right?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, we created this from scratch, so we can do what anyone would need us to do, right? As long as it's legal and as long as it's useful, we can formulate this however needed.
Yeah. So, okay. Now, what are some of the use cases that you're seeing right now pulled out in this?
So, I mean, honestly, the first use case of launching this is protecting collectors' value, right? Because how many times have you heard of someone launching an NFT project and they promise the moon, they promise the stars, and it's going to be gamified. You're going to use this real, like all the same stuff we hear all the time, right? And then, the creator of the project, he gets a couple $1 million in the mint right off the rip. And then he's like, oh man, you know what? My dog died or my cat got ran over. I have to leave the project. I'm sorry. Like I once heard that there was an NFT project and then the dev died, right? And they were like, oh man, dev died. We're sorry, guys. Rest in peace, right? But then the community rallied around the project and they're like, we're going to do this for the dead dev. And the project just skyrockets. And then they make an announcement in Discord. It's a miracle the dev came back to life. Oh my gosh, like this is amazing. And then the project tanked. And then they said, oh, sorry, miracle wore off, dev died again, right? I mean, it's funny, but I feel like that's a common story we hear a lot. But with IVNs, someone can launch a collection, right? And some collectors are going to be mad that they don't keep 100% of the mint price, but we have built-in gamification with these things. We have a built-in way that creators can make, fees associated with actions that the IVNs can do, so they're getting these fees in perpetuity as long as the project is alive. So it's a great way for sustainability. And if the project dies or the dev walks away, people can burn the IVN to extract the value and potentially even be in profit depending on how long they've held their IVN collection.
So is the IVN then gaining interest in it?
Yeah, so a portion of the fees associated, we're calling them sub IVN collections, right?
Okay.
Portion of the taxes upon mint, upon burn and redeem functions, a portion of those taxes actually get distributed to the other holders of that collection.
Yeah. Okay. So what's, like the call to action here, something I like to talk about, the new user experience. Someone new walks up, finds your Twitter page for some weird reason. What's their first thing that they're going to do?
Well, I mean, we have our main token, Fate token, which is also connected to our Fate Shield IVN. So our token itself right now is just a normal token, right?
Yep.
But if you hold the token and our Fate Shield IVN, a portion of our token tax gets distributed to our IVN holders, and then any new mint IVNs of our Fate Shield IVNs, a portion of those taxes actually go to buybacks on our Fate chart. So we've actually made this solid ecosystem that's supporting itself through all these actions. So in regards to the call to action, the first step is get to know us. We're not a hype train. We're not like, oh, there's no moon boys in our community or anything like that. We're trying to make a sustainable ecosystem surrounded by a myriad of products with real world applications. So the first call to action I tell anybody is get to know us, hop in our VC, ask questions, DYOR. And then from there, you'll see, because there's many different avenues, right?
Mm-hmm.
Many different avenues where people can decide how they want to engage within our ecosystem.
Okay. And so right now, what the mint value for an IVN, what is the cost?
So if you leave it blank, like I'm looking at your page right now, I believe it's only like $5, right? Or you can add your own store of value amount and create your own IV. Are you using Brave browser again?
I am not using Brave browser.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we found that there might be some issues with Brave browser this morning, and so at least in the interim, and we do have someone that wants to come up and speak and ask some questions, or we just have Wes, the CEO. Right?
Yeah, Wes is the owner, the creator, and lead dev, and in my opinion, he's one of the smartest men I've ever met. He won't admit to it,
Okay.
We all joke that he's actually Satoshi Nakamoto. Again, something he won't admit to.
Hey, like I like to say, and Wes, maybe this applies to you. You've never seen me and Batman in the same room together.
See?
I just wanted to quickly speak on the call to action point. I think really what we're going after as far as this call to action. The call to action is this. We look at the internet, and each of us collectively spend 15% of the global GDP on the cost of our devices, the cost of our connections, and the cost of power to those devices. We then further spend about 28.8% of our time on the internet. And we give our value away when we post our content for free, when we post our ideas for free, when we basically hand over our intellectual property to these behemoths like Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, who then take our intellectual property and monetize it in every possible way. So we like to say, reclaim your value, decentralize yourself. You know, our slogan is it's all in your hands. We're trying to build services and utilities that allow us all to claw back that value that we're basically giving over to these companies and to the internet at large. So again, it's about, you know, building tools and utilities that help you take control of your intellectual property, take control of your value, let you take custody and have complete ownership and responsibility over all of it, so that we can gain and kind of get some of that value back.
Okay. Now, so like it's one of those things where, you know, why would, if everyone's looking at the flip right now, they're looking for the pump, they're looking for the long-term hold, you know, it's sort of self-explanatory to me, but that means it might not be self-explanatory to others.
Right.
So why, you know, if where's the intrinsic value for someone? Because, you know, they're holding, when I guess maybe we can talk about the tokenomics a little bit, you know, because I know, Ian, you touched on this for a second, but the inside piece of it.
Let's keep it something relatable that everybody can understand.
Yeah.
We all go and post a picture to Facebook or to Instagram or to Twitter, and we all want to get as many likes as possible. Okay? Now, right now, that whole activity does nothing but monetize and generate revenue for Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, etc. We don't get any of that money. We just get the feel-good feeling that we get a bunch of likes. With an IVN, you can mint an IVN, post a picture to it, and then share that picture the same way you would on Twitter or on Instagram. Only now, when people like your IVN, that IVN actually gains value from those likes. So the more likes you get, the more comments you get, the more your intrinsic value for that IVN actually becomes.
Attention based.
That's a really low level way to describe it, but that's effectively what's happening on every possible level.
Yeah.
Right. We look for the mechanisms that are currently being used and being monetized by the bigger companies, which is a proven business model.
Yep.
Like all of these things that we're talking about, they're already happening right now. The only difference is that all that money is sitting in Google's bank account.
Yep.
Not ours.
So the piece on that then is, if I'm liking something, am I paying for that like?
You are. You are. But in doing so, you're also giving yourself a chance to win a bounty as well as the thing that you're liking. So it's almost like when you like something, it's almost like buying a lottery ticket at the same time. You're liking something as well as giving yourself and that target a chance at winning a bounty, which boosts both of your intrinsic values.
Okay. So, you know, I guess, you know, we've seen this a couple times with like dynamic NFTs. Koi is doing something like that as well, you know, with attention-based NFTs. We see this in Favor with like decentralized social media, you know, and so I feel you're sort of taking a little bit from everything and sort of trying to wrap it all into one. Have you gotten feedback, you know, and this is to you, Wes or Ian, have you guys gotten feedback that maybe you're trying too much at times?
I mean, hey, I got this. I totally got this. With the ecosystem we're building is a bunch of different moving parts, right? And yes, we definitely have gotten the feedback that, oh, you guys are doing too much. but the end goal is still the same. So all these moving parts that we're constantly working on are going to merge into a focal point of what the ecosystem is. You know, people try to build this, try to build that, but without a solid base and without solid, you know, all the moving parts coming together in order to make that end product viable, that's what people miss out on. Because especially with everything we're building, yeah, we have a lot of products, we have a lot of moving parts, but inevitably they are all going to come together in a working, viable base of an ecosystem. So yeah, we are doing a lot, but it's for specific reasons of why we're doing them.
Yeah.
Like, we are trying to build a better social platform, and a lot of these utilities and services are kind of the building blocks of that. I actually founded a service back in 2001 called Lithamark, which later rebranded to Authamark. This was strictly an intellectual property protection and management system. This was before Bitcoin ever existed, yet it was very much just the same fundamental concept as the blockchain. The only difference was, in my version of the blockchain, it was gold CDs, single right CDs held in a vault that creates an immutable archive of all the intellectual property that had been registered. So in much the same vein, the systems that we're building are not just about the content that we share, it's about taking ownership of the content in the first place, taking control of our intellectual property, our ideas, our content, you know, the things that we post. Taking ownership and custody of those things and allowing ourselves to monetize those in ways that currently, again, Google, YouTube, these are all fundamentally sound business models. They're making money off this to the tune of hundreds of billions of dollars a year. So the business model is there. It's just a matter of how do we access that.
Yeah. And so did you, you know, talking about, you know, a public ledger piece, you know, prior to there was a couple different public ledger pieces that were attempted and stuff like that prior to Bitcoin. You know, one of the main issues that everyone talks about was that Bitcoin sort of solved the double spend issue, but it also sort of looked at solving the network of good actors versus bad actors, you know, for a 5150. So I guess sort of when you're talking IP rights and stuff like that, were you looking at protecting that long-term interest piece on IP rights?
Yeah, I mean, the objective then was to have a permanent immutable archive of all the intellectual property that was registered to our system.
Okay. And how's that system doing these days? Or I think you said you sold it off?
No, interestingly enough, we had gotten in 2000, interestingly enough, the same thing that birthed Bitcoin is what sank us. Because in those days, the internet itself was considered to be a scam. People wouldn't put their credit cards in. So we didn't have a paying customer base. It was all free users.
Yeah.
And I had evaluation done. We had a possible investor coming in that was going to be investing $2 million based on a $6 million valuation. And then the housing bubble hit. And everything just kind of went down from there. I tried to keep the server alive for the next couple of years, but it was extremely expensive. I was working a full-time job to do it, and I just couldn't keep up with the cost of the servers at the time. So, and I never got into crypto until 2 years ago. So interestingly, like I said, the same thing that birthed Bitcoin actually sank us, and then I wouldn't even consider Bitcoin or crypto for the next, next 10 years or so before I took a chance on it because it was too much hassle. So it's really interesting how things have kind of come full circle in that respect. But I think the end point is still the same, right? Whether you were talking about Bitcoin or just crypto in general, I think the best thing to come out of crypto is the smart contracts, the immutability of the ledger, and the smart contracts.
Yeah,
Those
Turing
are the
complete,
best things to come
you
out
know,
of this
but we
whole experiment thus far.
and so you know, I always love the term Turing complete, you know, for the simple fact that able to make code, and we're seeing that, you know, even on Bitcoin now, sort of expanding to where with BRC20s and the idea of Taproot, what the original idea for it was that smart contracts could live on Bitcoin now. You know, instead we're putting JPEGs and boobies and frogs. But you know, hey, it all, you know, the internet started with memes and porn, and maybe this is what Bitcoin has to go through its internet.
Well, no, funny enough, porn is basically the only reason of how we have the internet today. And as Wes was talking about, people were scared of putting the credit cards in online. You know, if it wasn't for porn, none of that would have happened. That was the one thing that got us over the hump, where people were like, "Oh, okay, I'll put my credit card in here. I'll get a video ordered to me online or streamed live through whatever streaming service."
Well, so I got in trouble when I was very young.
You want to talk about this?
Yes, because I got in trouble. I got I got the cease and desist letter and everything like that, you know. But I had my first website I ever made was basically, because back then porn sites, they had a paywall, but they weren't surrounded by a paywall. So if you could get past the paywall, and usually site maps were very easy to find. So if you could find any page past the paywall, you were in free land. So I made a website of links beyond the paywall. So that was sort of one of my first websites that I made and got in trouble for. But yeah, you know, it's
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Look at you. You're the Robin Hood of porn.
Boobies for everyone. You get a boobie. You get a boobie. You get a boobie. But, you know, or penis.
Or penis, if that's your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know, you can't leave out any side. But it, you know, it sort of laid the groundwork of what could be done. And those were the days when I would make games with Hyperstack. You know, that was, I think, the only time I liked Apple. You know, they were traveling games and stuff like that. Choose your own adventures, because those are really good, easy to make if thens. I think that's why smart contracts, you know, unfortunately, no one writes in Tool. Everyone writes in Solidity. So, you know, you have Safe Math, which should be good, but sometimes has issues. Open Zeppelin has created an amazing library to help protect smart contracts. But I don't know. You're almost doing account abstraction in an NFT. So if you wrote your own standard, and Wes, maybe this is a question for you. When the next step would then, if you wrote your own standard, when EIP?
That's a great question. I actually don't know a whole lot about the process with submitting an EIP. I do feel like this will become a de facto standard, whether we file that or not. I think it's only a matter of time, because people will see that, you know, it's, you know, there's just too much damage being done with bad projects and bad actors. There needs to be some mechanism to protect investors and protect people. As Nomad was indicating earlier, I mean, the dev of a collection with a sub IPN, they could either die or they could just walk away from the project, and it doesn't affect anybody else's money.
Yeah,
they can take their cut, their treasury or whatever. But that's as far as fees are concerned. But as far as everybody's IBN's values are concerned, they're all back to 1-1. And as the dev, they don't have access to those funds. They can't run even if they wanted to, because when you turn the treasury on, it literally blocks the owner of the contract completely out of everybody's money. It's a one-way lock. So it's like taking the key and melting it after you've locked the door behind you.
Yeah.
There's literally no way for a dev to take anybody else's money. All they have access to is their own treasury as owner of that project. So this comes in handy for so many different things too. If you're dealing with a person that's of high visibility, like a celebrity or an athlete, you know, so they don't have to worry about getting their name dragged through the mud because some dev walks away.
Yeah.
Different things like that. So it really helps protect the end user and not allow the creator or owner of a project to just have free will over everyone's money.
Okay.
Which, sorry, but that kind of is a great segue for some of the other stuff that we've been working on. Okay. So what, Wes? I that's public, right? I can talk about that, right?
Oh, I'm not sure what that is.
The NFL guys.
Well, we can talk about fake picks. Let's not name anybody.
Okay.
Let's talk about fake
Okay.
picks specifically, and I think people will understand that potential.
Cool. So yeah, we a year ago, I think we made a pitch to the NBA. That part's public, right?
Yes.
Utah Jazz.
Shut up.
My bad, I'm not supposed to say that. Jazz hands.
No, to the entire NBA publicly, we made a pitch. It was during their open pitch deck where any company could send them a pitch, right? And so we created a new fan participation product, which essentially it merges fantasy sports with trading cards, essentially. So you would make a prediction on a player, and then real-time game data would be scraped to grade those trading cards, right? So well, hopefully we'll have more announcements in this month regarding that. But we've had some major interest from Wes. Do you want to take more of that story? I don't know what exactly I'm allowed to say and what not to say.
Fantasy sports comparison, while true, isn't quite accurate either.
Yeah.
It's similar. With fantasy sports, you pick your players, and then it's kind of up to the players to help you perform. So your status or your performance is based on their performance. With fake picks, you're making predictions about the performance of a player. So it actually becomes a competition between fans as to how accurately they can predict what their favorite players and teams are going to do. And that's what gets scored. So every fake pick gets, once you make your prediction, it gets scored when the game is complete. Again, and you have an accuracy score. And that accuracy score determines where you fall on the leaderboard, for example. That obviously can have an influence over intrinsic value, over what appreciation you're able to get, or what you're able to resell it for in the aftermarket.
Okay. And so, like, what you're basically doing is you're creating a value to store wins in a way for a player.
To store predictions. It's not necessarily about wins, but it's to store predictions.
Okay.
Right. So you may predict that the team is going to lose and that this player is going to score 0 points. That's a prediction.
Okay.
If that comes true, then you've got a high accuracy score as a consequence.
Yeah.
Again, it's about storing those predictions on the blockchain and then scoring them as the game's complete.
Okay. And you guys have, like, with your 3Pay, I know you guys have a photo challenge up right now, right?
That's old, actually. I think the 3Pay challenge.
Yeah.
We were trying to get people to take pictures with 3 fingers up. But the crypto space isn't well known for people wanting to show their faces, so it really didn't pan out the way we wanted to. I had a previous business called Lunker Tremp, which is a fishing business, and it's all about taking photos with your fish. So I was just trying to find some engaging way to try to get people active and posting things online. That may or may not work in the future, but as the last time we tried it, it really wasn't that successful as far as a challenge.
Okay. I think that there's some ways that you could do that, that make it easier, especially because I know with the community involvement side of things, I have my brain is running right now, and I have ways of magic. But all right, so you guys are doing some really cool stuff there. So these NFTs are tradable. You guys are, one of the things that I'm sort of hearing, what this is almost like is like a T-share in the Hex community, where it's holding value. You might have bought it at a lower price. Now it's worth more. And so, we're seeing this sort of delayed gratification is sort of what I want to call it, because as degens are all about the quick flip, the short-term play, what makes money today, to help them buy the next thing tomorrow. But you're almost looking at the long-term effect of things. And, you guys, please, I would love for you to build this idea. I'm going to give you your next $1 billion idea.
We have so many things, man. But yeah, sure. Let's hear it. Let's go.
Baby's first NFT.
Oh, we thought of that.
Yeah. I think we might have talked about this too.
I think when you were doing the first tests of the IVN a while back, because think about this, like you have a kid, right? And you can actually put your kid's photo or because you can do anything with these IVNs. You can do audio, video, anything, right? So you can put all these,
It's a time capsule.
images, essentially, of your kid,
Yeah.
start an IVN and then just hold it. So hopefully as volume goes through our system, by the time the kid's 18 years old, that could potentially be a college fund or whatever. In my opinion, I don't suggest anyone go to college, but that's just my opinion.
I think college, technical school,
yes,
holds a very important piece. And unfortunately, we've gotten into a society that shames technical school, and but like, if you don't have a master's or a bachelor's or something, but you have a certificate and you've done 2 years, okay, cool. I can build your car, remake your house, but because I don't have a poli-sci degree, with a communication minor, I can't talk to the world. But like literally, I can rebuild your entire world for you.
Yeah. No, that's another conversation entirely, and going
a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
The one thing I would add to what we were talking as far as these time capsules is concerned, because we have a greeting card application we're working on as well.
Oh yeah.
So turn your IBN into a greeting card and send it almost like you're sending a birthday card with money inside.
I got one of those. I got one of those from Ian. I got the lucky day.
You got one of the test ones, yeah.
I got a test one, and I burnt it right away. And I have, as I ended up then going and trading it for some ice cream on like Ice Cream Decks or something like that.
That's fine. But the point is that with the prediction side of things, the same kind of rule still applies. If you're giving somebody a wedding card, you can predict how long they may be married or how many kids they may have. Mm-hmm. If you're dealing with a kid's birthday or graduation, you may predict what they're going to be or what their job is going to be. There's all kinds of unique scenarios where making a little prediction, even just friendly bets with people, amongst friends and whatnot. I mean, that can be extremely incredible, competitive. So these things could kind of take on a life of their own as far as the predictions are concerned, not just with the professional sports.
Yeah. So are these? This is going to be. So these are vaults. Are they multi-chain vaults, or is it per chain that I minted on? So if I minted on BNB, am I able to add, non-BNB chains to it, or will it not recognize it?
So right now we're just on BNB,
okay.
Finance, but the protocol is compatible with any EVM. So our new version of 3Pay, for example, supports 23 different chains.
Okay.
So that means that our IVN effectively could be on 23 different chains.
You need to update your page because it says 9.
Yeah,
we have a whole.
You stepped up your game.
Well, no, we have a whole version. We have another version of 3Pay rolling out, so that's why we haven't done any updates to the 3Pay website, because the UI and the UX is going to be a massive overhaul coming soon.
Okay.
So more polished.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that. So, what do you guys have next? So user first comes to your Twitter. That's the call to action, right?
In my opinion, the call to action is. Oh yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, no, Matt.
Well, no, I was just gonna say the call to action for anybody is, in my opinion, I want them to get to know us, right? I want them to see all the products that we have and see the applications, what we're doing. I want them to ask the questions. I don't want someone who's just, going around Dex Screener or whatever, and they see our chart and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to put money in because it's cool." No, I want people to actually do their research first, make an informed decision, and because there's so many different avenues, and for what your first call to action might be different from someone else. Like, oh, maybe someone has a Web2 website and they want to sell, buy products, or have people, book a scheduling system with them, right? Well, then that might attract that person to 3Pay, because 3Pay is our essentially our social tree system that also allows for people to copy and paste one of our embed links into their Web2 website, allowing that Web2 website to accept crypto payments for goods, services, booking and scheduling systems. So that might take that route. Or maybe someone, wants to degen and they want to play the chart, but they look at our chart, they can totally buy in and see, it's a solid start. Or maybe someone wants something more conservative, so they buy an IVN, locking in that value, and that value growing over time based on the volume going through the IVN and the chart. So there's a bunch of different avenues, and it's really just about doing your own research and seeing what avenue is best for you. What rabbit hole are you going down today?
Okay.
And I would just add, like, for anybody listening, and I don't know if we have a big group or not, but just a call to action for me is, like, just look around. Like 99.9% of what people are investing in or buying into or communities they're joining are literally stealing their money. Like, we have a clear track record. Our entire team of 9 individuals are all docs, and we all have our face on this. We're building real solutions. We've been building for 2 years. You just need to, like Nomad says, do your own research, get to know us, look at what we're building, test what we're building. I've been sitting in VC myself, for literally 16, 18 hours a day for the last 706 days.
He never sleeps.
More available as a team than any other team on the space to answer questions and help people test and use these things so that we can identify, then streamline how these systems work.
Okay. And what do you see as like the next move from you guys?
The next move is kind of based on a number of scenarios that are happening in the background. So we've got a lot of irons in the fire, and any one of those things could influence the direction. As it stands right now, we're working on the new version of 3Pay and improving the Fate Shield IVN and the interface. We may be having to switch to the Fate picks depending on what happens, but we've got some, like I said, we got a lot of irons in the fire. I don't want to speak at a turn and overpromise something that's not solid yet.
Yeah.
But the next version of 3Pay, we've got a lot more coming with the IVNs and what we call sub IVNs, so that people can launch their own collections. There's just a lot of stuff in the pipe. The end goal is we're building a social platform. We're building a social network and a social platform that has payments as the foundation, that has these transactions and all these ways to monetize ourselves as the foundation of every single utility and service we build. So that's why we started with 3Pay first. We spent about the first year working on 3Pay before we started focusing on the token and the IVN. So now that we've got the new token and the IVN, we can build a new version of 3Pay based on these new contracts and this new technology, and kind of ground up have all of these interactions and all these actions built as the foundation of the platform.
Okay. Which is kind of funny because the industry standard in the crypto space is launch token, create hype, and then start building. Maybe some of those products will see the light of day. We've kind of done the reverse. We've spent 2 years building a lot of these functions, and then we launched our token with some of these products already active in beta, with more on the horizon. We launched the token with of viable products that we're constantly going to be growing and adding to and flushing out.
Okay, cool. I don't know. I think that this where can people find you next IRL?
We're gonna be in IRL. So we're gonna be in an issue of Crypto Magazine. You know Nathan and that crew. So yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna be in an issue of Crypto Magazine. We got invited to an event in New Orleans, a tech. What was it? A digital assets,
Digital Economy Expo.
Digital Economy Expo in New Orleans. So we're gonna be there. We got a couple other events we're going to be at, but they're kind of surrounded around some of the stuff that I can't talk about yet, potentially. So, but yeah, that's where people can find us. And like Wes said, we're all docs. We're easy to find. I live here in Utah in the States. Hello.
That's why I said Utah Jazz, because I didn't know if you were
Yeah, that part.
So, all right. Yeah. All right. That's. I guess I want to before we move on to the next topic and stuff, because we're gonna deviate a little bit, but from Fate Labs. But what else would you like to say, Ian, and then Wes?
No, nothing. We're super excited. It's been a long road to get where we are today, and I'm just super excited to see and have people get to know us, have people get to know our project and the products that we're building. See all, the new advancements of what we think the new standard for an NFT collection should be in regards to saving face if you're a creator, and regards to storing your value and security if you're a collector. So I'm just super happy to be here. I'm super happy to just start getting out in front of people and showing what we've built. And yeah, thanks so much.
Hey, man, it's always great to have you and talk with you. This literally was decided on like 5 minutes before the show started. So, yeah. Wes, last bits from you before we sort of pivot a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I can reiterate everything that Nomad said. The only thing I would add is that just our slogan says it all, right? It's all in your hands. And it's not about us, Fate Labs, making you money or me building value for everybody. It's about you making yourself money. It's about you figuring out ways and us giving you the utilities to do that, to help you reclaim value that you're already putting out there, value that you're currently giving away for free.
Yeah.
And just change the channel on this whole space. We have to start setting a better example and doing and building legitimate products and services with crypto. Otherwise, we're going to lose it.
That is,
so,
that is sort of the way. We're looking at ways to create stickiness. And that's one of the hardest things, because so many people are on the in and out side of things that what's that? But we all sometimes forget that this stuff is immutable. It's not going anywhere. It really can't once it's on the blockchain. We don't see, we see forks happen all the time. So that just means there's even more copies of it out there, So, because I know like some of the communities that really are into this and really love this idea of long-term gains, the Pulse community, and the Hex community, talk about stickiness,
True.
So it's there's communities out there, that I know, I know that have bought into this long-term idea of blockchain, this long-term idea of intrinsic value and stored value. So it's only sort of a matter of time, you just have to, what got me into blockchain, and Ian, we've talked about this, consistency and transparency, being seen regularly, showing up or having people show up on your behalf, and consistently, showing up in the most random of places. So, do you guys have swag yet?
We do. We have access to it.
Yeah.
We've got a storefront that we're working on where we're going to be selling all kinds of different swag and merchandise. That's again on our 3Pay service.
Okay.
Taco definitely wants a lanyard. I don't know if you've seen Taco in person, but He wants
Hey.
a friggin' lanyard.
I only want the lanyard if there's a conference involved with it. If you can see in the back,
Dude,
there
this dude literally has 20 pounds worth of lanyards when he walks into a conference. Every time I've seen him, just looks like he's coming from friggin' Mardi Gras, just drenched in badges and lanyards.
Yeah. And we have Pay It Forward joining us on stage. Who's behind that account today?
So that would be our other member, Craig. He's part of our team as well.
What up, Craig?
Come on, Craig.
I just wanted to say hi, and I wanted to say, whatever merch you want on the 3-Pay store, whatever you want to link up
Craig's
to,
the dude.
find someone to supply it and print it regionally and deliver it wherever you want in the world.
Woohoo! Shirts and stickers.
Shirts and stickers.
But pants.
Rock on.
Pants. This is people wonder my how do I pick my wardrobe? And literally I just stick my hand into this basket behind me, and all my shirts are Degen Web3.
That
all
explains so much.
My running joke is my running joke used to be, if they supplied pants and shoes at conferences, I would never have to buy clothes again. But after ETH Denver, a project got me a pair of shoes specific for the project and stuff like that. So I have a pair of boots that light up.
That's awesome.
So, now I just need pants, and I would never have to buy clothes again. So, I don't know if significant other would love that.
Some IBN, some Fate Labs IBN pants. How about that?
Yes. I'd sport those. So they just need pockets.
Oh yeah, they have to have pockets.
Lots of pockets. So
you want Fate Labs IBN cargo pants.
Okay. They have to look nice though. I have to be able to wear them at any occasion.
Send me your logos, send me your patterns, send me whatever you want. We'll find someone, whatever you want. Yoga pants.
I don't think the world wants to see that. I don't think the world wants to see me in yoga pants.
That was a joke.
It would make my butt look too good. So, but all right, let's pivot a little bit. I want to sort of cover lots of other things. And one, for everyone joining us, happy 4th of July. Happy Fireworks Day. Happy, for our UK friends, happy Day America Kicked Your Butt Day and declared independence. But what's really grown out of that is an amazing partnership, across the sea. So I got to love that, I just, a holiday where I'm allowed to blow things. I'm encouraged to blow things up. And as long as it has glitter, it's okay.
Well, never mind.
But on a more somber note, I do want to all my French friends and families, be safe, take care. Craziness is abound, so be safe. That's all I ask. So, Ian, what other things are you seeing across the chains right now that have your eye?
That's hard, especially because I like to keep my ear to the ground, but I've also had, my nose on the grindstone while we've been doing this. This has been my life for around 2 years. Whether it's in real life meetings with potential partners and collaborations, but I've tried to keep up to date on everything else that's going on, especially with, Gary Gensler resigning. Can we get a what? So happy about that. Yeah. So, there's a couple other projects, and unfortunately, I don't remember the names of them, but there is some great technology coming out of all this. You know, it sucks that there's everywhere you look, it seems like you do hear stories of bad actors and things like that. But if you look hard enough, you'll see.
I do have to say one thing that as of right now, the SEC is dismissing those rumors of Chairman Gary Gensler.
Oh, come on.
That it is AI generated fake news.
Oh, come on.
I don't want to burst your bubble because
my bubble is burst.
I
didn't track sources or anything. I just saw some crap on Twitter and I just wanted it to be real so bad that I just let it be. You know, I willed it into existence, but I guess that wasn't enough.
Yeah. Hey, this is day old news, so maybe some, you know, it was the spark.
I'll survive, I promise.
You know, and I'll be honest, I actually don't want Gary Gensler to go out like that. I don't want Gary Gensler I don't want to win that way.
Yeah.
I think Vitalik said it best. You know, he said, I don't want to win because I'm the only one playing.
Yeah.
You know,
that's a great way to put it. And I think that also by him just simply resigning, he gets off too easy. Like this man needs to be held accountable, just like he's trying to impose on everybody else. He needs to be accountable too, because he lied in front of Congress. He's misled people. There's more going on behind the scenes that needs to come to bear.
Yes, I agree with you 100% there. You know, so it's one of those things that, but what I really want out of this is I want true regulation.
Yes.
You know, and the grounds for it. And this was something that I had said earlier this year, based on based on the election cycle and everything like that. I felt that no true regulation is going to come out this year or next. If it does come out this year, it will be draconian. And we won't really actually see any regulation till around 2025. I know that backburns everyone, but you also got to look at how long the XRP lawsuit has been going on since the SEC sued XRP, because they're a civil organization. That's all they do. They sue. That there's no legal charges. Yeah. They're you know, this person hurt me and didn't pay me enough money, basically. You know, the idea is that they're protecting everyday users, but none of that money that the SEC gets goes to anyone other than the SEC. But what can come out of it, the SEC does do a lot of good. We do have to recognize that, as much as it annoys us. We see the good in everything, you know. So, but when it relates to us and what we're doing, we're highly frustrated.
It's a great way of putting it, highly frustrated, because of course, most major institutions or entities that we see today are, in fact, you know, good intentions, right? They're there to help people in some regard. Mm-hmm. Sometimes do we get people who don't understand something, so they're acting off of that misunderstanding? Of course, just like in day-to-day life, right? So when I made the comment regarding Gary Gensler, I don't, it's not out of animosity, or it's not out of vitriol, hatred, or whatever it is. It's back to what you said. It's more so out of frustration on my part with what's been going on and all the things that have culminated to that point of where you see real world financial atrocities being committed and seemingly nothing is done about it. And people are hyper focused on these other aspects of the conversation. Yeah.
It comes down to that classic line, you know, if someone's being pulled over for speeding or for some other minor crime, people are like, well, why are you focused on me? Why aren't you out there, you know, solving murders? Or, you know, well, one, there are police out there doing that. There are, you know, regulators out there policing, their specialty. Gary's, piece right now is sort of based on crypto because there's enough bad doers out there that you sort of have to over clamp to try to figure out, and they sort of got their face slapped by FTX, and this wasn't just a like a candle flick. This was in public, just walked up and like slapped the face, and that's almost like it's it's an overreaction from an insult like that, where hey, we tried to do this and open arm this, and it slapped in our face, whether all the backdoor deals were done, and all of the private stuff was done, tinfoil hat off for a second. It really was just a public slap to the face. So how could we expect anything less than, a reaction like we've gotten? Have we seen some really horrible things, like Elizabeth Warren? Basically, like this was, so I was at the AI BBS conference here in New York a couple weeks ago, and Elizabeth Warren had just said that, crypto was the number one form of payment for cartels. Actually, no, it isn't, because it's traceable. The $100 bill, 97% of all $100 bills have trace amounts of cocaine on it.
Yep.
And the no voices are coming up to really speaking up clearly and saying, and so there are really good organizations out there they're fighting. Blockchain association, government blockchain associations in every state almost, as well as what the grassroots people can do. If you are in any state, contact your representative. Contact your congressman, contact your senator, and just say, hey, I'm pro crypto. What are you doing? So you can at least learn their agenda, and then also follow that up with your own call to action. What can I do to support you or tell you why this matters?
Can I just add one point to that? Just
Of course. Yeah.
When we talk about money laundering, criminal behavior with crypto, we're talking about $3 billion annually. But when you're talking about money laundering and criminal behavior in the fiat world, you're talking about $30 billion.
Yep.
So the problem is not crypto. Okay, the problem is not crypto doesn't have enough regulation. The problem is that the institutions that are supposed to police this stuff, they only police it toward us. They don't look at what's going on behind the scenes. And there's lots of issues with the banking sector, with the financial sector, that the SEC could be looking at, as well as looking at the bad actors in crypto.
Yep.
They should be able to do both at the same time, not one or the other.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that piece. And unfortunately, like what the common piece is that there's just too much for us to police it all. And so they find the key points that they can police. What is on everyone's topic right now? What does every business news channel now price out with the stock tickers? Price of Bitcoin and price of Ethereum, price of Solana, because those numbers of communities and institutions, that number it cannot be ignored anymore, So it's a really interesting thing to see that target, because it's such an easy target, because it's blockchain, it's open source, anyone can see it. If banking ledgers were public and open, we would have all of these questions too. There'd be bank runs on every bank because we realize that they don't have the money that they say they have, So we see this target piece happening, and it sucks. But one by one, wherever you're at, even if you're in a different country, my call to action is contact a representative and see where their stance is, and ask them why you can make a why you support it. And what's really cool is they are open to this.
Yeah.
They'll sometimes you might have a calendar date really far away, but you're still on their calendar to talk to them. So That's my big suggestion of the day on July 4th. You know, celebrate with fireworks and reach out to your local congressman if you need that. You can type in who is my representative into Google or DuckDuckGo. It will ask you your area code, and boom, you can start from there. Whether it's letters and numbers or just numbers.
Yeah.
So your postal code. So Ian, we what's the biggest thing? I asked you sort of what you have your ear to the chain on. You never gave me an answer.
Because I don't have one, honestly. I see a lot of different products, and there's a couple quiet products that are out there. I heard something about Yuga Labs doing a lot of different things right now. There's a lot, and I don't want to say anything of what I have my eye on because I don't know where those things are going.
Okay.
I don't see an end result or an end goal just yet. And then also, I've seen 1,000 different times where people start developing something and they promise the moon and the stars of what something's going to be. So that's why I'm really apprehensive to talk about other products until I've done more research on it.
Okay. Me, I just click links and click buy.
There you go. Like a true Degen Chad. That's why I love you, Player One Taco.
Just buy 50 cents of this, buy 50 cents of that. Hopefully it turns into $1.
Dude, but you know what? That's a solid play right there.
Yeah.
But how many 50 cents is turned into $100 in your part by buying a crap? You spent $100 on buying 50 cents worth of a crap ton of projects, right?
Hey, yay leverage buys at 200x.
Love it.
No. So, all right. So Wes, what about you? I know you're probably like Ian, he's just, his nose is to the grindstone. I'm sure you have your whole head.
Yeah, I mean, I keep my nose down working, but I do stay with my ear listening to the ground as well. I think you have to, because you have to know what's going on around you. Make good decisions for what you're doing. It's sort of like when you're driving. When you're driving, you're obviously focused on driving safely. You have to pay attention to everything around you. Because it's the other people that you need to worry about, not yourself more often than not. So I definitely keep my ear to the pavement, listening to the news, to what's going on with the SEC, to what's going on around the world, to the whole big ordinals thing and Nutty and all these various sideshows that we have happening on Twitter and social media.
Yeah, no, I think that was a fun account for me to unfollow. I just wanted less toxicity on my timeline. I actually have done some Twitter purging, and I had to do Twitter purging because this sounds sort of hilarious. I'm limited, now we're rate limited to how many tweets we can see a day. And so, I paid $8 a month a year in advance, so that I thought I would be able to see as many idiot posts as I wanted, But
are you still limited even with that $8 payment?
Yep, I'm limited to I think like 8,000 tweets a day. So
I don't want to speak against that. Yeah.
But it's one of those things to where we see issues with the data storage piece. But what will really has always sort of frustrated me with Twitter is because I have under 10,000 followers, I'm rate limited on the amount of people I can follow.
Yeah.
I was limited, so I could only follow up to 5,000 people. And I think half of them are that I follow are just protocols, and or a lot of AI stuff, that I've been following for years, Open Face and, or Hug Face, I think, but I remember having to unclear that account the other day. That sort of sucked because they do amazing things. But slowly building that out. What is what are some of your Twitter things that you're doing, Ian?
As far as, how am I navigating the constant changes that Elon's doing to Twitter? I mean, honestly, I use Twitter as a way to interact with friends and have people interact with me. I try and get on spaces and chat with people. But honestly, I haven't been on Twitter as much as I know I should, because I'm just so sick of the antics of people on Twitter. Like this idea where people can just say and do dumb stuff, keyboard warrior syndrome, all the fun stuff. I'm just like, that part of it kind of dissuaded me from interacting as much as I should on Twitter. And then especially like the whole Ben.ETH stuff and not to throw a bunch of names under the bus, but just I don't want to be part of that side of crypto Twitter. People are up in arms talking about stuff and this drama and that drama. I just don't have time for internet drama anymore.
Yeah, that is a thing.
That is definitely a thing.
I think that one of the things that cleaning up my timeline, sort of got a lot of that out for me. I recommend people do it on like a yearly basis, like spring cleaning or something like that.
Definitely need to do it. So I actually appreciate this topic.
Yeah. I know one of the things that I've been doing lately is, obviously I go to a lot of conferences and I try to go nonstop on behalf of projects, and represent them and stuff like that. But I talk to every single booth and I get their swag. I get their, I still have 2 bags of conferences from swag reports I have to do. Like, I have this bag of swag, and let's just pull out item number 1 to do a report on.
The mystery report. Here we go.
Oh, this is Certic. I do work for Certic on the side and do BD work for them. But yay, it's a wireless charging pad. Yay, win. But I get to find out, what's really cool is I get to go back and I get to sort of see, are they still around? What are they still doing?
Well, we have the Silicon Slopes event here in Utah. And I think Gary Vee is going to be speaking there. Tony Robbins is going to be speaking there. It's actually at the Delta Center. I think that's late September. So, Jim, it would be on. If you're ever in here, man, we'll have a blast in Utah. I'll show you around.
Heck yeah. Man, talk about last time I was Park City, Utah.
Oh, nice area. Yeah.
For like a rugby match. So, yeah.
But
yeah, but no. So I don't know. What Degen things are you doing lately?
None. I hung up my Degen spurs, bro. I really did. Like, I know. I was the biggest Degen around the last bull run, and then the start of the bear market, right? I was just a massive Chad, right? And I don't know, like, especially with what I'm doing here, I really don't have time. And I hate it because I'm always going to be a Degen at heart, right? That community aspect of it, the people you meet. And I mean, honestly, that's how I met Wes and everybody else who I still am friends with or team members today, is because I was a DJ, hopping around all the spaces, doing tours and AMAs, blah, blah, blah. You hop into a coin and you meet someone else who's been hopping into the same coins that you've been hopping into. And that's how you build certain communities. And then you meet bad actors and scam artists, and then you know who to stay away from. But but yeah, I haven't been doing a lot of Degen, man. You know.
Oh, you haven't been doing a lot of Degen. All right. Well, let's see here. Let's give you some Degenic stuff to do.
God. Okay, let's go.
There we go. I just found it, and I'm gonna send this to you privately because
Okay.
There's an invite code, one-time use invite code to go get free art.
Okay.
Yay, Solana. Drip House, shout out.
Oh, Solana. Wow. Okay.
Free art almost every single day.
That's pretty cool. Am I gonna get just pounded with whatever you're dealing with?
No. You get stuff from like Degen Poet, Vault Music, 3D objects. You just get a whole bunch of cool stuff. Bork, the Viking pug.
Yeah. Okay. Dude, send it. That sounds cool.
Sent. So I'll send it to you in Telegram too.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That is the Degen talk channel of choice these days. Yeah.
Feels good to get back to my roots, you know?
Yeah. You know, we've seen a lot of stuff within the Solana art community really sort of take off, which just makes me happy, you know, because, you know, this is sort of what the idea was behind was proof of digital ownership and provenance of owner, you know, who's owning what. And I feel that as it gets more and more advanced, you know, as well as, you know, because like, so there's a ERC 6557, you know, that recently got pushed. It uses account abstraction, but basically a wallet within an NFT.
Yeah, NFT is a wallet, right?
Yeah. And it's backwards compatible, you know.
Going back to what you said, one of the things that I have been reading on about in regards to this is, you know, the wallet controller aspect, which I think is super dope, actually, where you have the control wallet and then you have your asset wallet.
Yep.
And so if your control wallet gets compromised without ownership of the asset wallet, you're not able to do anything. So no one's able to extract any value out of it. Or same for your asset wallet. If the asset wallet gets compromised without access to the control wallet, nothing can happen. And this is a wonderful two-factor authentication aspect for digital asset wallets and EVM wallets. So that part I'm actually super intrigued about what's going on technology-wise.
Yeah. And, you know, right, you know, it's a double signature piece, you know, and that's, you know, we look at that as, you know, we call that cold wallet storage, you know, it's just, it's, you know, keys on a separate device, you know. I giggle whenever I see, you know, someone's like, oh, I have all my NFTs on this. And I'm like, oh, okay. Sure you do.
That's what we're doing, huh?
Yeah, that's what we're calling that. All right. You know, and I'm like, I don't even know.
Yeah, my NFTs are in this one thumb drive, man. I'm like, yeah?
I'm like,
you know, they're not actually on there, right? No, what are you talking about?
Yeah. I'm like, here though, this. Ha.
They're actually on that? Yeah, man, they're actually.
We can't plug this.
We're
not allowed to plug this into anything. Here's the best key though. Right there. For those on video who can't see this, this is the best key, and this is the only key you need.
Is that a Kingdom Hearts skeleton key?
It is not a Kingdom Hearts skeleton key. It is not. There's a DeLorean key.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah. So, but no.
So you have a DeLorean that acts as your cold wallet?
Maybe. So,
Ah,
but no, it's cool. There's just so many cool people building stuff
yeah.
in Web3. And so I want to thank you guys for building cool shit. You know?
No, and thanks for having us on here to talk about it. It's like I said, we've been working on this 2 years in silence. We haven't been hyping it up or anything. Where, we have this running saying in our group that we're the hardest working, most transparent crew in crypto, and no one knows about us.
Yeah.
It's what it's been like for 2 years. So we're super excited to talk about it. And thank you so much for having us on, man. I really appreciate it.
Yay, no, not a problem. And before we go, I want to do one last thing, just because I want to talk tokenomics for a second.
Yeah.
So you guys have a token. It's a BNB token, right? Are you
Yeah,
guys
it's on the
putting
Binance Smart
more
Chain.
chains?
So yeah, it's on the Binance Smart Chain. We have a 5 in, 5 out tax. And
Okay.
a portion of that goes to liquidity. A portion of that goes to supporting the IBNs, which get distributed to all of our IBN holders. And on the inverse, any mints or actions performed on the IBN side go to automatic buybacks on our chart. So, yeah.
All right. Yeah. And now I know that you guys have done some cool stuff with the IVN to where you're getting ready, or has the Lucky Strike been made live?
So the Lucky Day portion, we have a function of that in 3Pay. As of right now, you can do a bounty button on your IBN. So you pay around a couple dollars and it's a chance. There's a bounty pool that you go to our website, it'll show you how much money's in the bounty pool. And anytime you smash that bounty button, it's a chance for you to win a bounty, which will automatically add to the intrinsic value of your IBN. And the IBNs work off a leveling system. The more actions you perform on an IBN allows it to earn more distributions, as well as eventually, once you get to a certain level, instead of burning the IBN to extract the value, you can click the take profit button, which will allow you to take any money accumulated over the mint price and put that in your wallet without burning the IBN itself.
Okay. So people can draw down.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Nice. All right. I like that. So what I like to always do, and I'm gonna I'll go first just because I was told I put too many people on the spot, and it's a horrible thing. But final thoughts. I'm gonna go around the room. We have Pay It Forward. We have Wes. So we have Craig and Wes joining us on Twitter. We have you. Joining us, and I want to do a quick shout out to everyone joining us via Twitch, Telegram, whichever YouTube channel you're coming from as well, and those on Twitter. Final thoughts. Enjoy the day. There's a couple projects that chose today to mint, so there's going to be some. If you're looking at not participating, there's going to be a lot of gas fees on ETH today, so time yourself. This is also a day to sort of just, look at the people that you love and tell them that you love them and hug them and, throw random things at them. So, and tell them that you love them. So it's sort of fun. Yeah, I just sort of want to thank everyone for joining us today. And as I close it out, I'll close with my words of wisdom that I've closed every episode with. But Ian, final thoughts and words of wisdom.
Final thoughts is I'm just super excited we're finally able to start, showing this to the world. And, words of wisdom. One of my favorite quotes of all time is, success is the ability to move from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. So that's my quote of the day.
All right. I like that. I like that a lot. Wes, final thoughts and words of wisdom.
Final thoughts, and Ian set the bar pretty high with that. Thank Ian. I'm just super excited to see where this goes. I mean, none of us really know what's at this point. We've built some pretty cool stuff, and now it's kind of rubber meets the road type of deal. So it's going to be very interesting going in the next few months and the next few years to see where this goes. Words of wisdom. I mean, I have a saying that I time and time again. Dean probably gets sick of it because I say that the context matters. And I think that if people could just learn that and understand what that really means, it would do a lot of good. Because we often make decisions or do things without realizing or thinking about what it's like from somebody else's perspective. Or what it might be like in a different country, because context matters. It changes the situation. How you view a problem or situation depends on the angle that you're looking at. That's all I got.
Hey,
I appreciate you having us here today, for sure.
yeah. Hey, you guys are welcome anytime to the worst Twitter show on Twitter. The worst daily show, as I like to say. And it takes a lot of effort to make sure, because I completely forgot to do any calls of actions of myself to ask anyone to retweet and like this room, comment, subscribe, and all of the above. So thank you for joining us, and we'll have to have you guys are always welcome. This is a daily show, so people always ask, so you do it every day? What about the weekends? I'm like, I guess that falls into a day category. But Craig, pay it forward. How about you, sir? Any final thoughts and words of wisdom?
Yeah, I mean, I'm new to the team, but seeing what these guys have built and seeing it in action and how it integrates with everything that they're creating, IVNs will replace NFTs on every EVN chain. I really, truly believe that. When people realize what these are, it's really amazing. That's about it.
All right. Amazing. Thank you so much. And as always, my final thoughts, just have fun today. VMPX is minting at 10 a.m. PST time, so in 30 minutes. So get ready for that war. Be safe, have fun. Only use official links from Zen Crypto and Jack Levin and VMPX. There are no airdrops. Please be safe. And have fun. And as always, that's what this is meant for. This is economic theory at its finest. We are working to build a future. So I want to just thank everyone for being part of this, and expand, do not be afraid to expand your chain base. I think on one public wallet, I'm across 40 different chains, EVM chains, so there's a lot out there. There's a lot out there, and we'll see IVN soon across many chains, So when I can say when Pulse, that I think you'll have a lot there. And as always, we end with the greatest joke on the face of the planet. And Ian, I'm going to need your help with this, because this is the greatest joke. And this is how we've ended 320 plus episodes of TacoBytes, your daily bite of Degen. Are you ready for the best joke ever? And it's done out of love. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. Please have a wonderful day. And we'll see you tomorrow. But knock, knock.
Who's there?